The National Health Service continues to fail the British public, waste taxpayers' money on rainbow unicorns, and introduce authoritarian policies. Oh yes, the envy of the world. The political, complete cliquey mentality that's created this blind faith religion, state religion, that is the NHS, despite the promises from our weak and feeble politicians who told us over the last year or so that the NHS should go back to normal, should treat the public, should not really cancel appointments, should not really prevent relatives from seeing their loved ones in their final hours and minutes. Nope, the NHS trusts and hospitals around the country continue to add restrictions, continue to refuse treatment, continue to block and ban relatives and from seeing their own patients and loved ones. It is absolutely crazy what's going on right now. There are a number of issues with the NHS. One is wasting taxpayers' money on nonsense, on diversity managers, on bureaucratic senior managers, who some of them make more money than the Prime Minister. And also, when it comes to the actual service itself, outcome, quality of outcome is going down every single day compared to any other normal universal healthcare in the world. Despite the fact that in February 2022, the government said, well, every NHS trust is in England limiting visitors, despite the fact that obviously we're moving towards the living with the virus. That happened. And in March 2022, they said, well, you need to allow visitors for an hour a day under living with the virus plans. And they then said, just go back to normal. No. And most hospitals continue to stop relatives from visiting. Some are very generous, saying one person or two people can come for a few minutes and then you go away. And they don't really allow you to make your own decisions. They don't allow you to actually have your parents or your relatives to actually make decisions for a child that is in its suffering. The NHS, because it's a state religion, because it's so linked to the state, that means your body belongs to the state. We've seen examples so many times. Remember Charlie, baby Charlie, whose parents were trying their best to keep him alive. They said, okay, the NHS can't treat him. They said, we can't. And they said, okay, there are now new experimental treatments in other countries. Can we, let's just take our child, go, and it's our risk, it's our own gamble, but we love the child, we have to go and see if anybody can save him. The NHS said, no, we won't let you take your own child because your child belongs to the state. The body of the child belongs to the state. So they said, okay, if we're staying here, can you treat him? Say, no, we can't. He's going to die. So, okay, so you can't treat him. You're going to let him die, but you're not going to let us, the parents of the child, to actually try to save his life. And no, you're also not allowed to save your own child's life. And then again, we've had so many other examples. Recently, literally, this was this morning, this news that came out by Rachel Alexander, saying that a mother said that my baby could have died after the NHS decided to cut corners. How many examples of these situations we had? Now, mistakes happen. Cutting corners, unfortunately, happens in any country. But in most civilized countries with universal healthcare systems, when mistakes happen, there is an actual investigation, there will be punishments, and there will be corrections. Not in the NHS. Not in the NHS. All the scandals that happened over the last few years, few decades, nothing happens. And it's nothing to do with post-2010, when the government changed. It's been happening in the 2000s, in the 90s, in the 80s, in the 70s, and in the 60s and 50s. Every single decade, we've had the same toxic culture in the healthcare system. But no one's willing to start having a conversation about getting rid of it, about starting from scratch, go with the Western European systems or the Nordic systems, have an actual universal healthcare system that anybody could have access to, make it cheaper, make it more efficient, and have higher quality of outcome. Simple. I don't get it. I don't understand why there's absolutely no appetite in the political system to do this. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.